Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa alihi at-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. First, I would like to offer you, brothers and sisters, my dearest congratulations on the auspicious occasion of the birth anniversary of the master of monotheists, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. 2 nights ago, I gave a short speech in the masjid. I wanted to continue with that, but I thought maybe there's a different audience. So I thought to speak about something else with your permission. However, that which I wanted to speak about also changed because of the sisters' lobby. They asked me to speak about something in particular. So with your permission, if you be patient, and we'll open a new theme, inshallah. The objective of man is to incorporate the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We want to incorporate Allah's attributes, the attributes of perfection, Allah's patience, Allah's generosity, Allah's forgiveness, and all His attributes. The more attributes we incorporate, the closer we become to Allah, because the more Allah-like we become. So the more attributes we succeed in incorporating, we become closer to Allah. Man has the potential to become Khalifatullah. Khalifatullah means the successor of Allah. But what is he or she succeeding? In what are they succeeding Allah? The answer is they are successors of Allah in the sense that they are representing Allah's attributes. They are reflecting Allah's attributes. And therefore, the more we succeed in reflecting Allah's attributes, the more we are Khalifatullah. Although stones, plants, animals, all these can be Khalifatullah. But with humans, the potential is much greater. Even stones, plants, animals, trees, they manifest all of Allah's attributes, but to a lesser degree. We humans can manifest Allah's attributes to a much higher degree. But whatever creature there is, it manifests all of Allah's attributes, because Allah doesn't sleep in relation to any given creation. So the difference with humans compared to plants and stones and animals is that humans can reflect and manifest Allah's attributes at a much higher level. But God forbid, if man's reflecting of Allah's attributes becomes very low, the Quran says men can be even worse than animals. When does that happen? It's when humans manifest Allah's attributes less than even animals. So that is our potential. That's what men and women can be. They have a potential to manifesting Allah's attributes maximally, to a degree that other creatures cannot attain to. Now, when you look at these attributes of Allah, there are some attributes that women manifest more than men. And there are some attributes that men, some of Allah's attributes where men manifest more than women. There are some attributes that men and women can manifest equally. Why is this important? Because when you want to answer the question, what makes a man, and what makes a woman, what does the woman's identity lie in? What is the essence and identity of the man? Sometimes, to answer that question, it's a function of one's anatomy, whether you're male or female. That's for the doctors. Or for the geneticists, it's whether you're XX or XY. But in spirituality, if you want to be a man, you're a man physically, but if you want to be a spiritual man, what do you have to do? Or if you want to be a spiritual woman, what do you have to do? Look, it's not a medical criterion, it's a spiritual criterion now. To answer this question, we have to go through the attributes of Allah. Anthropologically, wherever you are, whichever tribe or civilization, from the Amazon to Dar es Salaam to America, everywhere you go, there are some attributes that the women of that tribe or civilization manifest more than the man. And there are some attributes that the man manifests more than the woman. The woman has them too, but the man manifests them more. Even with those attributes that the woman manifests more than the man manifests those attributes too, but the woman manifests them more. And this is seen worldwide, globally, and therefore it can even be deemed a fitri, universal principle. But in order to see where the spiritual identity of a man lies and that of a woman lies, we have to see which attributes do the woman, which of Allah's attributes do the women manifest more. Those attributes are intrinsic to the woman's identity. And if she fails in those attributes, she is compromising her spiritual identity as a woman. The man too. There are attributes of Allah that the man manifests more than the woman. Those attributes are intrinsic to the spiritual identity of the man. And if the man fails or compromises with these attributes, he has failed in his spiritual identity. Now let's go through this slowly. It has very important repercussions for the man and for the woman and then for the children. What attributes do the men have, that attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do the men manifest more than the women? One of Allah's attributes is Al-Qawi, the all-strong, or Ar-Razzaq, the all-providing, the all-sustaining. Women also have strength, and they have that degree of sustainment and sustaining. But the man's strength is more. This attribute of Allah, the man manifests more than the woman. The woman has it too, but the man manifests it more. And it's because of this that the Holy Sharia says the nafaqah is the responsibility of the man. Because with the man's strength and sustaining abilities, which is more than that of the woman, here it's befitting for the man that the man exerts his strength and sustaining to provide the nafaqah. So the nafaqah, the provision of food, shelter, clothing and other traveling expenses and other things, the maintenance costs, the basic expenses, the man has to work for. Now, here, imagine a man doesn't manifest these attributes of strength and sustaining. What happens here? Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, even though it wasn't binding upon him with all his different functions as an imam that he had to do, he still exerted a lot of effort and strength in digging wells. He didn't have to. It wasn't wajib. But he did the most excruciating of tasks. Why? You see? These attributes of Al-Qawi, Ar-Razzaq, the man manifests more. These attributes of Allah is essential to the male spiritual identity. This is what makes a man a man. And therefore, if a man fails in displaying, disclosing, exhibiting such attributes of Allah, that man, in spiritual terms, becomes less manly. Look, just pay attention here. His anatomy doesn't change. He's still a man according to his anatomy. He's still a man according to his genetics. Spirituality-wise, if he compromises or fails in manifesting those attributes of Allah which are specific to the man, and the man can manifest more when compared to the woman, if he fails, he's becoming less and less of a man. To paraphrase or to rephrase, he's becoming more and more, in spirituality terms, he's becoming more and more woman-like. Not according to his genetics and anatomy, his spirituality. Why is such a man becoming more and more woman-like? Because he's compromised with manifesting those attributes of Allah that the man can manifest more than the woman. So, for example, if you are a man and you have these chores which require your strength and sustaining, you have other people do it for you. You have to be careful. You have to be careful here. It's nothing wrong with having aides to help you out, but you also have to disclose, manifest these attributes of Al-Qawi in person yourself, like Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam. Don't compromise with manifesting these attributes of Allah, otherwise you become more and more woman-like in spirituality terms. And that has one very serious side effect. I'll come to that in a minute. The same with the woman. There are some attributes of the woman, some attributes of Allah that the woman manifests more than the man. The man manifests them too, but the woman manifests them more. Those attributes of Allah are intrinsic to the female spiritual identity. It's what makes them female, truly, if they manifest these attributes, which the man cannot manifest to this degree. What are those attributes? One is Ar-Rabb, Rububiyyah. Allah is all nurturing. The woman's capacity to manifest nurturing is much more than the man. Imam Khomeini, in one of his speeches, says that the nurturing that a woman does over one night to a child is more than that which a responsible father does over 10 years. Only an arif can speak like that. The man also nurtures, but the woman's nurturing potential is something else. They have a womb. Even biologically you can tell this, that her potential for nurturing is much greater. Although I don't want to limit nurturing only to children, but this is the maximum specific application and mistaq of nurturing. That's one attribute. Another attribute that the woman manifests more than the man is Allah's rahmaniyya, her mercifulness. She manifests more mercy than men. Here, this rahmaniyya that the woman manifests is something that similar to her rububiyyah and nurturing capacity, she shouldn't compromise with these. If she compromises, if the woman compromises with manifesting attributes of rububiyyah, of nurturing, and rahmaniyya, that woman, in spirituality terms, is becoming less and less of a woman. Not genetically, not anatomically, in spirituality terms, in Khalifatullahi terms. They're becoming less and less a woman. And to paraphrase or to rephrase, she's becoming more and more manly spirituality-wise. Another attribute that the woman manifests is Allah's jamal and beauty. She shouldn't compromise with that at home when she's with the mahrams, with her husband. She has to adorn herself, manifest her beauty. And that's why in the Holy Sharia it says for the women to adorn themselves inside the house. Even if it's wearing a necklace. It's not normal for a man to tell the woman not to adorn oneself. The man has a problem. And if the woman doesn't express and manifest her beauty in the home, it's a problem. Now, if the woman compromises with manifesting these three attributes, Allah's rububiyyah, nurturing, Allah's rahmaniyya, mercy, Allah's jamal, beauty, if she doesn't manifest these in spirituality terms, she becomes less and less of a woman and more a man. Now, why am I going through this route? Where are we getting to? Actually, the conclusion is very important. When you want to counsel a married couple who come for certain problems, or they want to get advice from a local sheikh, the sheikh first has to differentiate. And even married couples themselves, they themselves have to evaluate honestly for themselves. That is the man manifesting those attributes which were more specific to the man below the norm. If that's the case, the man is becoming more and more womanly. What does that mean? It means this marriage, in spirituality terms, is homosexual in nature. Not homosexual in the fiqhi sense, in the spirituality sense, because the man has failed in his manifesting those attributes of Allah which were specific to the man. He's becoming more of a woman. So the marriage in spirituality terms is between two women. Also, if the woman fails in her duties, in manifesting those attributes of Allah that the woman manifests more than the man, she's becoming more and more a male in spirituality terms. And there the consequence is the marriage is between two men. And therefore, in spirituality terms, the marriage is doomed to fail. You have to do something here. It may be a successful materialistic marriage, big car, big house, good education, but spirituality-wise, they're suffering. They may not care. That's another issue. But as Muslims, we have to care. This is a potential threat that every married couple may face. So the question is, if a woman wants to work, no one is against women working, but if a woman wants to work 9 to 5, for example, at what cost does she want to work? Would this work burden her to such a degree that it will disable her in manifesting those attributes of Allah that she should be manifesting more because of the burden and the lifestyle she's chosen? This is very important, because if she gets a job, which is okay, but if she burdens herself with a job, and the result of this burdening herself is she's manifesting those attributes of Allah, Allah's Jamal, Rububiyyah, Allah's Rahmaniyah below standard. Because of her work, she's doing a disservice to the marriage. At what cost does she want to work? No one is saying don't work, but lessen your work. Who says, why do we give in to the Western stereotypes of having to work, everyone having to work? Everyone has their own duty. The woman's spiritual identity lies in her manifesting these attributes of Allah. So this is something very important. Because sometimes the man is acting manly and the woman is acting womanly. They have ego problems. That can be solved. But sometimes no. The problem is much more deeper, and that requires much more work. Sometimes it's irreversible to amend those marriages. And then we come to the children. When you want to raise children, you have an infant boy, normal, an infant girl, and they're normal. We have a lot of traditions from Ahlul Bayt, which in the beginning, it's very strange why they're giving all these different instructions to 2- and 3-year-olds. For example, if you have a 2- or 3-year-old son, the hadith discourages the woman, the mother, or any other female member in bathing the 2- or 3-year-old son. Why? If you have a 2- or 3-year-old daughter, the ahadith discourage. They don't say it's haram, but they discourage it. For the male father to, or other male member, to bathe the 2-year-old girl. And then at 6 or 7 years of age, they have bedroom etiquettes, that they should be sleeping separately. And there are so many other etiquettes from 2 or 3 years of age the imams have given. This is very important. Many of the problems we are suffering in our communities, it stems from these early years. The scholars have said that when you look holistically at all these traditions on what to do and not to do to the 2- and 3-year-old plus children, the reason is, according to scholars, Islam plays a very important role in nurturing the sexual identity of the child. Because a child may be male at 2 years of age, but if not nurtured properly, they may, over the years, acquire a female psychology. They're male, genetically and anatomically, but since you didn't observe the particular etiquettes that you had to do, you sent the wrong signals. And then the boy acquired a female psychology. The girl acquired a male psychology. It's going to cause problems. Even in Islam, the imams have encouraged from 2 or 3 years of age, when you want to give presents to your male children, give them masculine presents. You're nurturing their identity as a male. Don't think just because they have a male anatomy, that's finished and you have to do nothing. No. You have to now nurture a male psychology. You may fail if you don't make an effort. For female children, you buy them presents which are feminine in nature, and buy them a lot of presents. It's okay. Also, in the traditions of Ahlul Bayt, they say that the female children should be predominated by the presence of the mother, and the male children should be predominated by the presence of the father. If a male child doesn't have a father figure, even the Western psychologists are saying this. Look, they say male children who didn't have a father figure or had a traumatic experience with a father figure in their earlier years, it leads to all sorts of problems, including homosexuality in their advanced years. We have to be careful here. The father works from morning to night. Is that culture or is that Islam? It's culture. Naturally, Islam does say you have to work. That which is wajib is working so that you provide the basic necessities. But working overload for your future of your children and the future of this and that, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. This amassing of wealth is not something Islamic. And therefore the father who works from morning to night, not being with their male children, it's going to have consequences. If you can't, you have to fill in that vacuum with a male figure. Otherwise, it's going to be problematic. And the same with the women. If we fail in this regard, the problem will be that the children will be brought up with a normal anatomy as they were born with normal genetics as they were born with, but the psychology, their gender may alter. And Islam says from 2 years of age, take this seriously. Because the biological, hormonal changes of the body, it doesn't start at puberty. It maximizes at puberty. But it's in the making, even from 2 or 3 years of age. So we have to relook those traditions of Ahlul Bayt, which gives us these etiquettes in relation to 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, and we have to practice them more. If, God forbid, we fail in this regard, it's going to cause problems. And then it will be us who are to blame, the community at large. Alhamdulillah, the Khoja community, they are very strong and good with discipline and structures and boards and committees. This is something which has to be taken very seriously. You may be surprised. There are many individuals, even Khojas, who have serious problems and they're embarrassed to come out. Look, some people, God forbid, don't do salat. It's a sin. Some people don't fast. It's a sin. Some people, God forbid, may drink alcohol. It's a sin. For some reason, though, we're ready to socialize with such people very freely. Some people may do their salat and fast, but they have one problem, and their problem is their sexual identity. They can't sin. They can't, God forbid, enter the lifestyle of homosexuality. It's haram. It's a sin. But the question is, should we help? Should we build a system where these people can come to us for help? Or should we keep on tabooing them? God forbid, no one wants to say homosexuality is halal, and no one wants to make it easy for anyone. This is a very grave sin. The reality of the matter is it's increasing. It's increasing because of the times. The lifestyle that the West, with their stereotypes, have culturally vandalized the whole world with. This Western stereotypes, this culture is making and opening the way for people, for males, to acquire a female psychology, and for females to acquire a male psychology. We have to go against this. We have to battle against this. This is wrong. Our children are being prey to such wolves, such cultures. We can't take this seriously. This is something we will not tolerate. But if a fellow Muslim is in pain and they want help, we have to give that help. We shouldn't isolate them, because like that we won't be able to see exactly what the problem is. In the same way, if someone is suffering from alcohol abuse, or they're suffering from not doing salat, or they're suffering from not knowing how to maintain spousal relationships, in the same way we help people with these problems, we have to help them too. Inshallah, this is something which we can pay more attention to, and may Allah give us the tawfiq for our community to become stronger and stronger. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala tahirin.